Order. If you are a first timer, you better learn that. Order. Honorable Kalasinga, I want you out of the house for the moment. Out until for the rest of the day. You don't even know the rules, because if I tell the Sergeant Arms and he touches you like that, you will lose a lot of time and a lot of money. So what you don't know the rules, go and study the rules. Order, honorable members, the direction is that Honorable Kalasinga stays out of the house for the rest of the day. Honorable Kalasinga, out. The chair directs that you stay out of the house for the rest of the day. Order. No business will be transacted until you are out of the house. Order. Who was on the floor at the time?
Mr. Speaker, the interruptions continue. I'm still soldiering on. Mr. Speaker, let me strongly oppose this particular supplementary budget for the reasons I've said. And I've given the example of Talanta Stadium, where a whopping 42 billion shillings is being spent there without a tender, without sufficient public scrutiny. And we know why. We know why. We know what is happening there. But one time, in not so distant a future, there'll be accountability. And we will make sure it happens. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Majority Leader. Followed by the Honorable Amolo. Otienda Amolo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this second supplementary budget of the year 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, let me begin by reiterating what I said when we were considering the report of the committee, that a second supplementary budget ordinarily is to realign expenditure that you cannot be able to consume maybe in one state department to another state department that will be able to consume that money within that fiscal year, or as the case is in some of the items that are here, to provide for very urgent and emergency funding that had not been provided for. And I just want to point out a few, Honorable Speaker, so that even, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from these people making noise behind me. I can hardly hear myself. Yes, I am of the view, anybody from either side of the house. I wish I had those powers to send anyone out. But, honorable members, I was very serious when I said we need to uphold the decorum of the House. Because Honorable Karoli Omondi will stand in his place, make his point. If there is something that he says I don't agree with, I will correct the situation. Like I will be correcting what he's saying about Talanta Stadium. Honorable Speaker, I was saying some of that expenditure, and I'm happy you have guided on NIS, because NIS, our State Department for Internal Security, are getting an additional 1.5 billion and 3.5 billion to NIS for security operations. And Honorable Speaker, those of us who come from areas that have suffered insecurity, and those members from Marsabit will tell you the problems that they have had in the recent past. Yes. You cannot wait for the next financial year to be able to appropriate for security operations and security matters. Because if anything were to happen and the security agencies say they could not do it because they didn't have resources, Honorable Speaker, the discussion will be different from what we are saying here. Honorable Speaker, what are we providing for? And our own members, ordinarily I would never have gone into these details. But because there are those of us who want to make politics out of this, it is good to point it out. And I will start with what affects you as members of Parliament. In this supplementary budget, if Honorable Yegon can listen, and the Honorable Benjamin Langat, if only they can listen,
Proceed.
Honorable Benjamin Lagat and Yegon, you will know that in this budget, your own medical as members of parliament, you have an additional 110 million. Your own medical. I do not need to name names and what some of us, our colleagues, have had to go through in the recent past, and the support they have gotten from this institution. It may happen to any one of you before the end of this financial year or the next financial year. In this, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Rahim Dawood, standing where he's standing, he will interject the Honorable Karoli Omondi because he wants to be seen on TV on KBC. For him to be seen on KBC, Parliament has to pay KBC. We have provided an additional 200 billion shillings for you to continue getting the live broadcast so that you may be seen on TV, as many of you want to be seen on TV. Honorable members, many of you frequent the office of a clerk, the office of a speaker, the office of a leader of minority, leader of majority. Help me to access this or that trip. Those trips, you use Kenya Airways. In this budget, you have an additional 150 million shillings, 180 million shillings for pending bills to Kenya Airways, owed by Parliament. Owed by Parliament. In this budget, you have 100 million shillings for those of us, Honorable Speaker, who have offices at KICC, and you access your office without being fitted by anybody, even when Parliament has not paid your rent. We have provided for 100 million shillings to pay for your rent. Honorable Speaker, the people we represent, our children are going to sit for their grade 9 exams. Those who will be sitting for KCSE, the second last class, are sitting for their last exams this year. The second last class. We have provided money to NEC, 1.5 billion shillings, to do what? We have not paid our invigilators, we have not paid our examiners, we have not paid the police officers who escort those exams to ensure, and security people who ensure that those exams do not leak, to have a credible examination process. And yet, Honorable Speaker, we expect that this year we'll sit for exams, credible exams, if we have not paid our examiners and invigilators and security teams that we have not paid in the last year. Honorable Speaker, we all pontificate whenever we speak, all of us, whether here, whether in funerals, whether in political rallies, on the need to address the question of joblessness and lack of employment for millions of our youth who are ravaging out there in poverty. The greatest responsibility we have as leaders is to make sure that, since we pride ourselves in the National Assembly as a budget-making house, the people with the power of the purse, we use that power to ensure that we are providing resources that will create at least, even if it is one job of a Kenyan who had no job, it is good enough. Even one job. The Nyota program, Honorable Speaker, is supporting not just the growth of entrepreneurship in our country, but creating jobs in a manner many of us who are well endowed may not understand. That 20,000 shillings, 22, 25, 30,000 shillings can change the life and livelihood of an entire family, leave alone an individual. We have provided 5.7 billion shillings for the Nyota program in this. That is the money you see that is split between the State Department for MSMEs and the Youth Department. Honorable Speaker, sports stadia. I don't even want to dwell on the politics that the Honorable Karoli Omondi wanted to bring, including saying the Nairobi University had their own figures, as if the Nairobi University is a procurement authority. Honorable Speaker, Talanta Stadium, for those of you who fly, if you listen to your captains, they have been referring to the monastery in their geographical coordinates as you come to land in Nairobi. Today, I hear them referring, especially as you approach Wilson, because one of the runways is closed, the one that faces where the monastery is, they are now referring to the new landmark in the city and in the country and in East Africa and Africa as a continent, Talanta Raila Odinga International Stadium. This Raila Odinga Stadium that the Honorable Karoli Omondi does not want to hear anything to do with because it is named after Raila Odinga. A great man, a great statesman. This Talanta Stadium, under appropriations in aid, Honorable Speaker, I know some may not conceptualize what appropriations in aid is. Under appropriations in aid from the sports fund, we are allowing them a further 4.1 billion for sports stadia. Honorable Speaker, this supplementary budget, as I said yesterday, also realigns areas where people may not be able, or a State Department may not be able to absorb everything. And if you look at it, there is a reduction of about 700 million to align the budget with actual institutional requirements. 1.8 billion is coming from the contingency fund. Because when we budget, even the budget that we just did for the next financial year, Honorable Sam Matandi will tell you, we provided for money in the contingency fund. What does this money do? If there is any budgeting that you did not provide for in the budget, you utilize that contingency fund to fund. Now we are taking 1.8 billion because we are coming to the close of the year. That money has not been spent, and you take it to more important things where you can spend this money. For instance, you want to watch FIFA World Cup, broadcasting rights for KBC has 150 million shillings from this. Honorable Speaker, the people of Kwale and the entire coast region and parts of the lower eastern will give you horror stories. I do not want to say horror, like someone said here.